and welcome to our final training where we are going to be diving into the ripple effect of this work, essentially, because I think it always helps not just to understand where you want to go, not just to talk about the ingredients to get there, but also the wider impact of this work. And if I'm honest, it's immeasurable. Now, you've shown up, you started to explore. I hope you really embraced the new understanding and unlearning of certain ways of being. I hope you've softened. I hope you start to remember. I hope you can feel the resonance of this work as I did. And then we start to think, well, okay, what happens when we show up and do this consistently? I really found that a big advantage of knowing about these tools, if you like, how they worked, why they worked, and then that just helped me be that much more committed to showing up and doing the work. Because it's one thing knowing it, it's a whole nother thing doing it, integrating it, embodying it, which is what this is all about, right? It's more than knowing it logically. So this is the session where we talk about that and talk about the devotion behind that, and it's not just for this season, but as a way of being from now on. I hope that you really do enjoy that whole expansion of you, because this isn't surface level habit tracking. It truly is soul work, right? And when you choose yourself, when you choose alignment, when you understand the energy that you bring is what your people buy into. It's what your people respond to, not just in your work life, but also in your day-to-day life. And this impacts your relationships, your choices, and your experiences start to reflect back at you how you are feeling about yourself, your work, etc., etc. So you'll start to notice it. You'll start to notice it not just after you've done something or in the middle of doing something, but you'll catch yourself just before you do it and decide to change it, or even in the middle of it and decide to change it. This could look like how you're responding to your children's interesting behavior or challenging behavior, and you decide to get playful, and it has a completely different result to how it could have been. Or maybe it's walking away, or maybe it's having that difficult conversation that you've had you've been anticipating and expecting certain things, and then you decide to approach it in a different way, and it gives you a surprising result. So essentially how you feel about yourself, it literally radiates, and you just don't just impact your life, you touch many, many people's lives, and in turn they touch other people's lives. As I said, it is completely immeasurable. So who might benefit from you living in your deeper truth, even if they never know why you changed? Who would benefit? What could that look like? Often we think that this work has to be loud, and it has to be in people's faces, and it has to make people uncomfortable. But actually, it's how you make people feel, and the energy that you bring to the room, and the way that you love, and the way that you create and lead, even when no one's watching, right? And every time you choose to pause instead of push and force, love instead of numb, lean in instead of run away, trust instead of control, you're rewriting not just your patterns, but also the patterns of your relationships, your children, all sorts of things. This is what they call generational healing, right? And this is why, even if you don't see the things happen straight away, it is happening. So you are where you are through most definitely having been impacted from generations before you, but you're also able to rewrite, not just for those generations, but for the ones to come. And you can decide what generational pattern or societal pattern ends with me. What is the new story that you're beginning? This little mini series I consider an activation. I hope it's given you an insight into remembering the power within you and how that impacts your everyday life, how you can literally experience things so differently when you start to see things a little bit differently. And the real work isn't always sexy, it isn't always loud. It is in those little choices, the consistency, the coming back and the deepening. I think that's really where it's at. You can't really go deeper in your relationships with yourself, or sorry, with your business or others. You can only go as far as you've been with yourself. Yeah. So this is where I get to invite you to join me on the Activate and Elevate Personal Alchemy series, a journey which is deeper, which incorporates not just the conscious, but the unconscious work. We have not just the trainings like this, but we have journeys and meditations and a workbook to help you to go through this, to move through this, to tune in to more of you. And this is more the how. Right now we're talking more about the why. The next part of the journey is more the how, and it's doing the work. So if you feel the pull, if you're ready to dive deeper, then this, my friends, is a beautiful time to do so. I mentioned before, but this was inspired by some in-person events that we did where we incorporate all of that, including the sound element, which I don't want to brush over because the beautiful Gabby that I worked with my in-person events is the sound energy healer, and she's brought the frequencies that are in the backing of a lot of the tracks that I've done, and they have been personalized to the different areas. So the key areas being the intuition, the permission, and the activation. And then the first sort of initiation, if you like, is around that awareness, where we go a little bit deeper. So when you do this work, you don't just get to become more of yourself. You get to become the lighthouse for others too. You can't make people change, but you can show them what's possible when you do. And it is the most beautiful unlearning work that you get to do, and you don't have to do it alone. You were never meant to do it alone. I 100% believe that. I think we're in a very pivotal time where that awareness is coming back to us. We are becoming more conscious of ourselves and our experience and our power within that. So what is possible when you start to live from more of this version of you? That is my question to you. What is possible when you start to live more from this version of you? Because I consider this is an opportunity to begin a fresh start again. And I'm not saying you need to rewrite it all. You can pick and choose what aspects of you want to amplify, expand on, and the aspects that perhaps you don't, but with love and understanding, right? Knowing that you get to write the script is a really powerful place to operate from. And you don't have to do it all at once. You can get it wrong and rewrite. It is not a race, it is a rhythm. So, what is your rhythm? What is your rhythm? And remember, your rhythm can change. I want your rhythm to change. I want you to embrace those different aspects of you, those different moments in your cycle or in your life. Like, what is the chapter that you're in? And again, thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to remember. And whether or not you decide to continue from here, I hope that this series has reminded you that this journey is a really special one, and your truth, your source, your style is your magic. And this is a masterpiece in motion you get to add to and literally transform whenever you decide to. So, finally, what truth do you know in your bones that you won't forget after today? All right, guys, thank you for being here, and I will see you soon.